Hey y'all. So as promised, at the end of every lesson every week, I'm going to be posting a story of a famous crime. Some of these crimes you may have heard of, some of them you may have never heard any details of. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to vary them. This is not going to affect your grade at all. So I'm putting these at the end of the lesson just to give you an opportunity to skip them if you want. Some of these a lot of these crimes are actually going to have a lot of mature content, so I'm totally okay with you skipping them. This is not a requirement, and again, this is not going to affect your grade at all. I am going to try to cover them as quickly as possible, so I'm going to try to do it under 5 minutes. Okay, so if you see me talking really quickly, that's probably why. I will try to do my best to include any triggers ahead of time. That way, in order to help you and help you decide if you do want to listen to the story. So, today's story, our first story, is about the Manson murders. On the night of August 8th, 1969, members of what would later be known as the Manson family drove to Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski's home on Cielo Drive. Polanski, considered a very successful director in Hollywood at the time, was not home. He was off, I believe, in Europe, just recording some movies, directing some movies. Miss Tate here, the 8-month-old pregnant Tate, who had appeared in 1967's Valley of the Dolls, was considered one of Hollywood's up-and-coming actresses. And she was at home relaxing with her friends Jay Sebring, who was a celebrity hairstylist, um, as well as Abigail Folger, who was if you recognize that name Folger, that is that's the exact name of the coffee brand. She was actually the coffee heiress. She was the heiress to that company, and her boyfriend Wojtek, who can be seen here. Members of the Manson family proceeded to murder those four friends, as well as the house's caretaker's teenage friend, Stephen Parent. Parent unfortunately was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was actually leaving one of the nearby homes as he was pulling away. Well, the Manson family members were pulling up, saw a witness, and unfortunately, he also perished. Once they were done committing the the horrendous acts that they committed, they actually wrote the word pig with blood on the door, using some of the blood of the victims. The next night, they committed very similar murder of a wealthy couple, Lino and Rosemary LaBianca, in another part of California, of Los Angeles specifically. Initially, police failed to connect the two sets of murders, but eventually it led them back to the man known as Charles Manson. Here are some of the Manson family members, and we'll talk about them a little more. You'll see who Charles Manson is in just a bit as well. Charles Manson was a lifelong criminal, had formed a cult following known as the Manson family. Again, these are the people I referenced. This family, this following, this cult was huge. It had about 50 to, I think, 70 members. So these were just a handful of people that committed crimes. As part of the Manson family. The Manson family actually, excuse me, actually had lived in a place called Spawn Ranch. This was a ranch, a set that was used in a lot of older cowboy movies. So something Manson had actually done, and here we go, the infamous Manson, he had convinced his followers to commit these crimes along with other crimes in order to fulfill his obsession, in which he called Helter Skelter. It was this Helter Skelter is basically this belief that Manson had that there was some race wars coming. He wanted to commit a couple murders, get this crazy war to begin, and then he was just going to have him and his family members hide underground until the war was over. Although Manson was not at the locations at the time of the murders, he, along with Tex Watson, Patricia Crankle, Susan Atkins, and Linda Caspian. So Linda actually ended up becoming, she's not pictured here. So this is Tex Watson. This is Susan Atkins. And I believe that's Patricia. I could be wrong. Um, so they had committed the crimes. Linda was actually became a witness against members of the Manson family. So she was a prime witness. The prosecutors, this is the team that was trying to prosecute the murderers, try to get them in jail. Um, they used her, and they were actually they tried them and they found them guilty. and they sentenced them to death. However, eventually, California outlawed the death penalty, so all the members that had gotten, you know, their sentences essentially got reduced to life in prison. Sadly, even in prison, Manson still has a pretty big following. Some of his family members continue to stay loyal. However, there's also some that have denounced him and have basically, all the lies that he spilled, they acknowledge that everything he told them was basically lies. If you'd like to know more, you can email me. I can try to send you some information, some more information, some more potential sources as well. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. See ya.